Hello everybody and welcome back to East. I almost said welcome back to Ark of Piston. Oh no, we're not dealing with a likable protagonist here. I kinda accidentally lit the first torch off camera. Oh well. So, the flame wheel. Hugo's actual melee weapon. The main property of the flame wheel is that it not only surrounds Hugo with death, but its hits actually do cause some hit stun unlike Hugo's normal attacks. So it's good for keeping the hordes of slimes at bay, even though the fire magic does not do that much damage to that class of enemy. More power for our bombs. So, that was quite a last video. Thankfully, Hugo will not be opening his mouth as much in this one. There we go. Hugo's shield magic is great for making those kinds of jumps, because you don't actually have to trigger it mid-flight. You can just put it on whenever and actually have a couple of those jumps just ready due to the shield's duration. Flame magic is mainly useful for keeping nearby enemies under wraps. It has a charged version which is ranged, but I haven't actually gotten a huge amount of use of the charged version of the fire wheel. Maybe I'm just using it wrong. That is not without precedent in these kinds of games. Haha, welcome to the Devil's Corridor. Or the preamble to it, anyway. You know, I think Hugo is the first protagonist in these kinds of games that I've ever seen backsass the dead. It's not a first that I expected to see. Even though we got the flame wheel, it's actually the trap mine that's the most effective weapon against pretty much everything in the Guilty Fire. With the exception of course, the bosses. Still, I'm going to show off the fire wheel skill anyway. I'm doing this thing to show off East Origin and all of its fun and lumps and all that sort of thing. Okay, let's see if I can get this right. Okay, go in, leave, trigger this, I had actually thought to replace the Devil's Corridor music with the Porno Cave music from Lagoon, but that didn't work out. Now, what was I doing? Oh. Okay, what I'm going to do next may seem a little bit stupid, but it's for a real reason. Just fighting some monsters. Nothing really big. No deal here. Oh, I'm dead. Now, I didn't do this just to see Hugo die. Okay. I'm fairly sure the way this works is if Hugo dies in the Devil's Corridor and you retry, then enter and leave again, you get this optional scene with Epona. I could have skipped this completely, but I like to bring Epona in whenever I can, because on this route she's less of a villain than Hugo is. Epona, what are you doing? Alright, let's hear it. Well, okay. Game? Stop reading my... Yeah, for all of his faults, Hugo did go all in for Int. The pillars have magical protections. Guess we'll have to find some other way to deal with them. Now, last time we needed to deal with that, we talked to the Roo, so let's see what the Roo up here has to give us. Believe it or not, though, Epona actually gave us 2 hints, but that will only be important later. Like, not even on this route later. Here's your fruit, give me the loot. Okay, since y'all know I've played East 1, I know exactly what to do with this hammer. But it's going to involve just a little bit of backtracking. And, you know, getting cut up by the fire traps around here. wish I didn't have to. But then again, East does still have pretenses towards exploration. Okay, equip hammer. Now the pipes you're looking for are these ones, the ones with cracks. One good swing. Pipes are done for. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're the same pipes that you smash in East 1. I don't think demons are quite skilled enough at home repair to be able to make a good fix on those. Epona is a bit of an odd character because she's only ever really a jerk on Unica's route. In the others, she's technically a part of Team Bad, but it's more like she was tagging along because everyone else was going, or something like that. Okay, that was a terrible idea. Yeah, the unfortunate thing about a lot of Hugo's attacks is that most of them lack the rather instant oomph that Unica's does do. I'll figure out subject agreement eventually. And we're not going up quite yet because Hugo does need the attack boost that Claria offers. There are times when I was playing this game for the first time where I did actually miss a lump of Claria, which did not make things easy for me. Thankfully, even though the game was only in Japanese, people did have game FAQs up for it. You know, even when there wasn't even a fan translation or anything. And we're just gonna skip back here and move on. This room is probably easiest as Hugo because of the way his particular wind skill works. Because you don't have to constantly activate it and it just sets you down gently, there is no need to really mess around or anything like that. you're pretty much guaranteed to make all of the jumps you need to on the first try. Those jumps, well, I just wanted to make those. Yes, you will make them so long as you remember how to jump. Shell boots? Oh, okay. Note, this supposed resistance to extreme heat, I don't think actually shows up in taking reduced damage from lava or whatever. So feel free to just accept the increase in defense and move on. Even with the boost in attack, it takes more normal shots to kill those warrior guys than is comfortable for me. I'm just gonna use bombs all the time. This big old room is no trouble for us, especially since there are enemies here that are actually weak against Hugo's bombs. I guess I forgot to mention that one of the biggest advantages of Hugo's ranged attacks is that it's actually much easier for him to keep his experience multiplier up. Because he can just reach out and hit pretty much anything he wants, his effective distance to attack each group of enemies is significantly reduced even if he has a lower movement speed. Details like these are not things that I have thought about too much before, but when you're doing a playthrough like this and you're carefully scrutinizing pretty much every video to make sure things go well, that is to say, watching it as an observer rather than as a player, these are details you pick up on more often. Okay, I've wiped out all the monsters here, at least until they respawn. And the torches go out for some reason. I know that EX Unica can light torches with her Bolt Crash ability, but I don't know if Hugo can do the same with his EX character variant. Speaking of which, I will be showing off the EX characters, just not in the main game. just because I have a thing about presenting the more authentic first-time Ys Origin experience, but also because the EX characters have a tendency to make the game easier. As far as I understand it, when you're making videos like these, there's a certain amount of self-flagellation that's appreciated by the observers. There are certainly limits, of course, but it's just the general impression I've gotten. I'm actually not a huge fan of this particular puzzle room. You've already busted your way through all of this. The puzzle solution is incredibly obvious, and it's really just a bunch of re-looping and backtracking and whatnot. I think that if they really wanted to be sure that the player had enough experience to face Galaldi, at an appropriate level, they really should have just put in another room of some kind to at least give some impression of forward momentum without having to backtrack to light all of these torches. Really, the only thing of interest around here besides the medallion is the Salsetta and Panacea thing here, which, as we all know, is only worth about 3 extra hit points. And it's not like we can mass buy these things like you could in Othan Falgano, or the equivalents you could mass buy in Argument of Pishtum. And instant teleportation due to puzzle solved. That's good and all, but I'm going to step back to gain a level, even though in retrospect it was probably unnecessary. You'll be seeing why I say that very soon. And the usual round of upgrades. Yeah, getting the reduced damage from harmful terrain is very important for Hugo because of his reduced movement speed. He has a chance to spend longer in the bad. Okay, I had forgotten what my old strategy was for fighting this boss, and I didn't know what magic to use, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna use Hugo's normal shot and see what happens. It turns out that is completely the correct strategy for Galaldi. In fact, I think as Hugo, Galaldi is even easier than Valagander, because you can blow up his kamikazes whenever you want. You don't have to be right next to anything he does to attack him. So it's very easy for the only damage you take during this boss to be from the terrain. There's really nothing special you need to know when fighting Galaldi as Hugo. Just do what you did as Unica and it'll actually be safer. Come to think of it, I'm going to, at some point, try fighting Galaldi as Unica using only Unica's normal attacks and see what happens there. See if the Fire Sword really is super necessary. And apparently, Galaldi is almost done already. Such is the power of Hugo's wizardry. And boom! Down you go. See you in East 2. Alright, let's get out of here. Fire levels have never really been my thing, especially not since Life Force. Oh, hey there, Toll. Yep. Toll remains too cool for school. Sorry, Hugo, but Toll's got you dead to rights. You know, I'm actually willing to believe Toll here. Oh yeah, in case you have been keeping score, Toll just disobeyed orders again. Because, if you'll remember, he was told to kill anyone not the goddesses. And he just let Hugo go. But anyway, that's it for this session of Ys Origin. I will be seeing you next time when our boots will be covered in sand. Bye!